Toastmasters and our not so privileged but esteemed guests. Now you see, I have to admit I'm a complete sucker. And the reason I'm a sucker is because I'm standing here right now. And I'm supposed to be the first speaker with Billy Mitchell to follow. And you know, the whole event has been built in such a way that, you know, it's the Billy Mitchell Comedy Night. And come see Billy Mitchell live in action. And then, of course, our lovely chair, Angie, comes up and talks about John Paul. You remember she forgot to mention me. I mean, what the hell is this guy? I mean, who cares? You know, he's just the first speaker, 5 to 7 minutes out, you know, so we can all welcome him. So I'm going to tell you a little story how I actually got here. You know, as part of visiting all these lovely clubs, I came here. Wonderful club, fantastic people, very welcoming. I got to speak here a few times. And I kind of felt at home. And then Angie came up to me with her sweet, innocent face and said, "We're thinking of having a comedy night. Would you like to be one of the speakers?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, how many speakers are there?" "Oh, there'll be 3 speakers, and you know, everybody will get a chance to speak. And I think you'll be pretty good at comedy." She forgot to mention Billy Mitchell. And so I signed up. And of course, very soon, there were just 2 speakers. Me and Billy. Yeah. And then, of course, I was actually told, innocently again, "Would you like to be first? Or would you like to be second?" You know, folks, I'm dead either way. So I said, why not be the first? So at least if I'm really bad at this, you know, all you wonderful people would have something better to listen to. And of course, you know, being the opening act for somebody like Billy Mitchell, I think is a little comforting. Because you can get away with it. In 7 minutes, they'll forget who you are. You get a lot of sympathetic smiles. You know, and people will come and pat you on the back and say, "Ah, brave man." So I decided to speak about, or rather I'd say gamble about, Billy Mitchell. So what's the first thing you want to do when you're trying to find who somebody is? First of all, just to set the record straight, don't have a clue what stand-up comedy is. I've never done this before. The only time I associated the word stand-up comedy was with something called yuck yuck. I mean, why the hell would people pay money to go and listen to yuck and yuck? Suckers! Well paid suckers. Well, I must confess, I did go once. But it was a free ticket. Offered on Craigslist. And I realized 20 minutes that was not for me. But here I am. So I decided, let's research the great Billy Mitchell. And thank God for Google. So I Googled up Billy Mitchell. And I was like, wow, there were like 72 pages of Billy Mitchell. And the first thing that struck me was, or the first post was, Billy Mitchell, the greatest arcade video game player of all time. I mean, imagine the only man, or the first man, who got a perfect score on Pac-Man. And I went to sleep, woke up at 3 in the morning with this nightmare about Billy Mitchell taking. And if actually got perfect scores every single time on Donkey Kong. And that was my next nightmare. I'm still here. I'm still there. And of course, then there's the Billy Mitchell hot sauce. There's actually a Billy Mitchell hot sauce. How do I explain the red pants? And then, of course, if the Donkey Kong and the Pac-Man and the hot sauce wasn't enough, I discovered that our Billy here actually has a whole empire. There's Billy Mitchell jewelry. There's Billy Mitchell, the congressman. Mercifully, he's black. And then, of course, there's even Billy Mitchell Airport. I mean, this guy's a stud, you know. I mean, airport hot sauce. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. The orange light is on. I'm still here. So don't you clap me down, Kiwi, because I still have a joke going. And finally, like all wonderful people in Canada, Billy Mitchell woke up one morning and discovered that he had won the $50 million lotto prize. And he always wanted to buy his red Ferrari. You know, red pants again, you know, something about red. That's the red there. So he goes up to the Ferrari showroom, gets into his Ferrari, zooms on Highway 1, 120 miles an hour. RCMP cruiser chasing him, decides, what the hell, I'm just going to go for it. 200 miles an hour, RCMP cruiser gone. Suddenly, his conscience, the Canadian conscience, wakes up and says, what the hell am I doing? Slows down, gets on the shoulder, waits for the poor officer to catch up. The officer comes, parks behind, comes up to Billy and says, you know what, Billy? It's Friday, 6 p.m. My shift gets over in exactly 10 minutes. If you can give me one reason that I've never heard before, I will let you go without a ticket. Billy looks up to the officer with innocent eyes and says, you know, officer, a few years ago, my wife ran away with a policeman. And I thought you were bringing her back.